town. Anything you want to add, Jason, you're welcome to do so at that time. And then we are going to hear from our municipalities and get their update as well. So let's start with the CDC. We were lucky enough to host a Senator Hickenlooper not very long ago at the I don't know what to call it. I call it the CTE building, but other people call it the old shop. Some people call it the wood shop. Some people call it the auto mechanic shop, but over behind the high school, we had a great meeting there, key stakeholders in the community. The most beautiful thing happened there, that our entire community was all rowing in the same direction for the good of this community. The senator was here to evaluate our congressional spending application that we put in. We partnered with Bill Pagosa on this congressional spending for $1 million to help build this CTE building that we so desperately need to be able to increase our workforce and have a skilled workforce. The congressional spending has cleared the third hurdle and is now going into what is that next step called? I had it on the tip of my tongue and it just fell out. Appropriations. Thank you. You said the same time. So there's still opportunity for it to fall out or not stay in the running, but our fingers are really crossed. We really had a huge impact on the senator, and I can tell you he went to the hospital first, spent I think like an hour and a half there, and then he spent an hour and 45 minutes with us at the CTE building. Key business stakeholders, electeds, all came together and spoke to the need of this facility, and then also some workforce housing needs that we have, and some other key items. I can tell you that Beth Lamberson is our grant writer, and she happened to attend the town hall in Durango after he got done here. And he actually referenced Pagosa several times while he was there. So we left a lasting impression. Fingers crossed that our congressional spending comes in. And we just had an amazing meeting and an amazing showing. So thank you, community stakeholders, for coming and supporting that. Fingers crossed, we'll keep you posted. Earlier in the year, we shared with you our goals for the Pagosa Springs Community Development. These are our goals that we showed you in February at our meeting that we had, and I'm just going to give you an update on all of these issues, kind of high level, quickly. So I think of this as my four-legged stool. These are our 4 initiatives that we're working on currently: workforce housing, workforce development, our Main Street program, and broadband. Our board just approved for PSCDC to take on a workforce housing project. I swear there was another slide. No? We're taking on a workforce housing project. We have been awarded 6 lots from the county out in Chris Mountain 2 to create this workforce housing program. We are going to build 3 units that fit an array of AMI between an 80% average medium income to 120% average medium income. This is specifically going to target what we refer to as the missing middle. Teachers, our nurses, our EMTs, our police force, are the people that we all need to keep in this community, to keep this community going. This is a pilot project. We will do this in 2 phases. Phase 1 will be 3 homes in Chris Mountain 2 at those addresses, and phase 2 will be 5 more homes in Chris Mountain 2 at those addresses. Again, you can see where we're trying to hit the different AMIs. What this quantifies into annual salary is anywhere between $50,000 to about $90,000 for a household income. Okay, so we're specifically targeting a group of people that we need to stay here. These are all going to be ownership models. So what we've done is we've created a full circle program. So we secured the land. We've been working with local banks to put out a favorable loan product for the developer, which we need to be the developer, and also a favorable loan product for the end person that buys the home. So we have one bank that is offering a 2% off the mortgage for the first year of your interest rate, 2% of your interest rate off your mortgage, and 1% off your mortgage for the second year, just because we know when people first move in a house, it costs you more, you have more to do. And so they're really getting creative. The banks are really getting creative there. We really appreciate that. Then we have gotten with our local builders. We want to keep all this money right here in Archuleta County. We have a total of 5 different builders that have been able to lend support to us for us to be able to build a budget and to build a master plan. And then we will go to an RFP process and put that build out. And we're getting ready to do that now. The next thing we've done is we started working with our key employers, the school district, the hospital, the sheriff's department, the town and the county. We're talking to them about who do you need to recruit and who do you need to retain? And how can we help you do that with this home ownership project? So we have several employers that are willing to participate in this program. I have no doubt that we'll be able to move these homes rather quickly. Our goal is to keep the price low. We have to leverage every subsidy, every grant that we can, the Fairfield Bankruptcy Fund for electric extension. We have to leverage everything to be able to keep those houses down where the price needs to be, which would include, I can't put them on the market with a realtor because then we have to pay realtor fees. So we're trying to target specific people. We're trying to get those houses pre-sold and get people into the home ownership. And then we connect the buyers with the product that's going to work for them. Currently, I have a teacher who's a 2nd grade teacher, single mom. She has a down payment for a house. So she's gonna be in the 80% AMI. We're gonna send her to Habitat for Humanity for that USDA guaranteed loan. That'll work for her. I also have a couple. She is a pharmacist or pharmacist technician. He is a physical therapist. And together they make about $85,000, but they don't have any money down. So we're pulling in the homes fund from La Plata County, and they're going to put them through the home ownership class, and they'll be able to help them provide a down payment. So we're actually working directly with these 8 different individuals as they start to surface and get them all pre-qualified. We should have the first 3 homes pre-qualified, hopefully before we break ground. This is kind of what we're going to build, single family homes that people can reside in. Different types of homes, 2-bedroom and 3-bedroom. And they'll look very similar to this. I want you to understand the risk that the board and the PSCDC is taking on for the community good. This total project is about $3.8 million. We have 2 banks that have come to the table and are willing to fund this project, RG Bank and First Southwest Bank. And we just could not be more grateful that they're willing to jump in this boat with us for our community good. That's kind of my workforce housing project. We are currently we're writing the RFP. I should be meeting with county administrator to make sure that I crossed all the T's and dotted the I's right now here in the next week or 2. Our grant writer wrote a grant in workforce development. We were awarded a $271,000 grant this year, better than last year where we had the $100,000 that we spent in 120 days. This 271 gets split into 2 years, so I get $135,000 a year. And we're putting that right into the community. This year we had 38 industry partners sign up to participate. They were looking for 66 jobs to be filled. 38 industry partners, 66 jobs. I had 48 students sign up. So we're still trying to fill the rest of those jobs. You can see how much the need is there for this work, and so we're happy to provide this. Our grant will reimburse the employers again for most of their costs. It does top out this year at $3,500 per student. But to give you an idea, if they're paying the student $16 an hour, they can work over 200 hours. So it's going to cover their summer program. We also partnered with Bill Pagosa on a Colorado Now application. This is still funding for the CTE building. We're going to have to go to many different sources and many different avenues to be able to fund this complete project. We were awarded a planning grant, and the door is now open for us to go into the next phase and apply for another round. So that is very exciting. How I'm learning that these grants are happening in the state of Colorado is you have to get your foot in the door with a planning grant, and then it opens you up to all this funding. So this is just like that as well. The Colorado Now Opportunity Now grant is exactly the same way. We now have gotten our foot in the door and we're able to go after large pots of money. Last week, on the 4th of July, we unveiled our Main Street program. This is our branding, and you should have seen a bunch of these shirts walking around handing out American flags. We had 800 and we could have used probably 8,000. We ran out very quickly, but the Main Street team hung out downtown and was supportive to the town in the parade, and we had a float in the parade, and this was our official launch of the Main Street program. So this is our branding. You can see the hills on the top next to Powered By, and then the water down on the bottom next to street. So we're reflecting our own community. This is a community-led downtown revitalization project, celebrating our heritage. This is the defined area, and I know this is kind of an eye chart, but it kind of gives you an idea. This is the boundaries that we set for the Main Street project. We were advised to make it rather large because it's easier to not have to build all the way out than it is to expand your Main Street area. So this is kind of what our Main Street area has been defined as. And then this is what we have done and are about to do. We had a parade cleanup day the Friday before the 4th of July, or Saturday, sorry. We were in the 4th of July parade. We are currently working on a facade grant program, and then the CDC has a mini grant program that they're going to work together and help get new awnings or new paint or a new door or all kinds of things throughout the Main Street program. We're doing a training tomorrow for historical preservation and design. So as we go into this facade, those buildings that are designated historical, we'll have some ideas on how we can help them stay within their historical designation, but still put some new lipstick and eyelashes on. So that'll be fun. We're preparing for a Colorado revitalization grant that will bring in many different things, and we are in the process of planning for that right now. And then our committee work just started last Thursday. We have committees that will meet once a month on several different areas, our MarCon committee, our events committee. So you're going to really start seeing some things happen in the next, I would say, 3 to 4 months. I'm going to give you a quick update on broadband. Our CNL building has been placed. It is out off of the abandoned substation right out across from Pirelli. It's a cute little tan building with 2 brown doors. I have to tell you something funny about that. When that building got here, those doors were white. And I called up Eric and I said, that building stands out like a sore thumb with white doors. We got to have a paint party. So he brings it up on our weekly call. We have a weekly broadband call for the region. And he brings it up and asks if anybody's willing to come over and share a bottle of whiskey with him and paint those doors. Nobody volunteered there, but you know, when I came in on Monday, those doors were brown. Right on. I don't know how that got done, but I'm really happy about that. Anyway, we're excited to share that our first $2 million grant that we got awarded last year will be finishing this August, and it includes that CNL building. It also includes a CNL building downtown that will be located at Town Hall. This will complete our first redundant loop in Archuleta County. This has been a long time in planning, and this will make such a difference in redundancy and bandwidth in the county when this is completed. It should be completed by the end of August. We're just waiting for to get electric to that CNL while we're working on the one downtown, and we are doing some aerial extension to Town Hall on that end. So we're pretty excited about the completion of this first redundant loop. Also, we are so close to having the MOU between the four-way partnership that will actually tie us into the state loop. I think you might have seen a story that was released that the Southern Ute Tribe is burying fiber going down Highway 172. That goes to La Plata County Airport. That is going to continue out Highway 151 and come all the way to Pagosa. That's part of that second $2 million grant. If you've ever tried to put four entities together, two municipalities, a utility company, and the Southern Ute Tribe, and get them all to agree on anything, you can understand why this has taken us about 8 months to get it done, but we are there. I believe we have a final contract to look at. This means we have defined ownership, who's going to repair it, who's going to maintain it, who's going to own it at the end of the day, and then who's going to actually do the work and bury it, so, or hang it on the poles. So this was a pretty heavy lift to get this contract done, but we are there and we couldn't be more excited. This work is already started on the Southern Ute side of it. And then when it gets to Highway 151, that's when La Plata County kicks in. And then also Archuleta County will meet them at the county line. So La Plata Electric is partnering by giving us pole attachments in many different locations along this path. So this will be pretty exciting. We should have completion in I would say June of 2024. I said early, but I think it's more June. And that is the high level overview of my four-legged stool. And Ashley, are you on? You see her on there?
Yes. I am.
I would like to introduce to you Ashley Wilson, the new director of the Archuleta County Health Department.
Hello. I apologize that I am not there in person this morning. I had some car trouble, and so we're zooming in today. Love technology for those reasons. I want to make sure, can everybody see and hear me?
Yes.
Great. Okay. I can't tell who all is in the room, so I'm excited to just say hello this morning. We have a lot of things moving along with the health department, and so Emily, thanks so much for inviting me just to be able to say hello and introduce myself. I have lived in Pagosa my whole life. I was raised here and have come and gone multiple times. And so I'm excited to be back in this role as the new director for our new public department. You know, I'm really excited to start doing some listening tours and getting with folks in the community to understand, you know, what people's hopes are for the new health department. And certainly on the forefront of my mind is this idea of how we can support the workforce in our community that is in that position of not qualifying for, you know, support through Medicaid, potentially not qualifying for discounts on the exchange for health insurance, but also just can't afford health insurance. And so I know that there's a big gap in our community right now for that population. And I think, you know, hearing your conversation about, you know, the housing developments, there is a gap for that, as well as all the other needs that those families have that are in that range. And so we're excited to start looking at what we can do as a public health department to sort of fit in some of those needs. And hopefully, you know, bring some services to the community that will really maybe bridge the gap a little bit around healthcare for that group of people in our community. I don't really know what that looks like. So I start full-time in this role next week. So I've just been in for meetings and trying to get up to speed with the state around things that we need to do. But as soon as I'm in the office full-time, I really hope to hit the ground running and start to get out and really listen to folks who need the services and try to see, you know, what is possible through the new health department. And so I don't have a lot of answers right now. We're still in the middle of just figuring out how to get it started as of January 1st. But, you know, I would love if there's questions that I can try to answer, or, you know, if there's times you know, we can schedule later to sort of answer questions or get feedback. I'm happy to do that. Just really excited to kind of get the ball rolling on all of this.
Great, thank you. Are there any questions for Ashley that she could maybe answer for you or take back and be able to dive in and try to find the answer? I think they are letting you skate easy today, Ashley.
That's a simple question, actually.
Okay.
I think I read something about this. Are the monies that are currently with San Juan Basin Public Health going to be allocated on a pro rata basis to La Plata and Archuleta County's new health departments? Veronica, you can probably answer that too.
I'll let Ashley.
Ashley, does that make sense? My question.
Could you hear that, Ashley?
So right now, the plan is that as they're sort of splitting up the assets from San Juan Basin Health, whatever is sort of left at the end of their time, which is December 31st, will be divided, not necessarily split, because we're technically 20% of their service area. And so whatever funds are remaining will be shared accordingly between the two health departments to both help us get started. I do know we're working very closely with the state right now to make sure that current funding opportunities that they have, that we can hopefully step in and either kind of apply late in order to get the second half of those years funding, or to really kind of take over some of the grants. And so we're working really closely with CDPHE up at the state level to make sure that, you know, there's no disruption in the services of some of those critical programs. And so we are in the middle of writing funding and working on understanding how the assets will be split at the end of this year.
Great, thank you. Any others? Okay, Ashley, I know you have another meeting to get going to. Thank you for your time this morning and hope to see you again soon.
Yes, thanks, Emily.
Okay, next we're going to have Julie, the CDOT Region 5 Transportation Director from CDOT, is going to give you an update.
All right, good morning, everybody. I'm happy to be here in person today. I made the drive over this morning. So pretty right now with all the moisture we've gotten and all the greenness, even though it is trying to dry out a little on us. I am Julie Constant. I'm the Region 5 Transportation Director. I have been in this role for a little over 2 years now. Prior to that, I did work for CDOT as the traffic engineer, and then a little more background. I was not born, but raised in Pagosa. My family moved here in '76. I left in '92. So just to help you understand, I do have a lot of perspective on the highways in the community and have seen it grow a ton through the year. And yeah, summer's here. Summer traffic is here. My family and I went out to Oregon and Washington and flew in and out of Denver, came home on July 2nd, back to Durango, and there's a lot of traffic out there on the highways, and Pagosa was busy. And it's a good thing. It's good for the economy, but it's just a different feel for sure. Even this morning, I was in a constant line of cars all the way over from Durango, and I left there at 6:45 this morning. So times are changing. All right. So Wolf Creek Fiber, project-wise, is still kicking along. We are still anticipating construction being done this fall. It may be late fall, but it should be done this fall. And then we'll work on getting all that fiber live that we are bringing on over. So we will have full fiber connection from Walsenburg all the way over Wolf Creek Pass to the east side of town. Our current resurfacing project is putting some additional fiber conduit in, on the east side of town from the intersection of 160 and 84, I think almost to 3rd Street, or through a decent part that we're resurfacing, and we've been working with the town, I believe, on that effort. So yeah, and then we are working with Region 9 Economic Development Group to lease some of that fibers here as well for local accessibility. And my last word on that is it's going in the right direction. We're going to get to a finish line. As Emily mentioned, government agencies trying to come up with agreements is always very challenging, but we'll get there. Okay, my next projects I kind of wanted to highlight, and I apologize, it's so big, but we're going to be doing a lot of work along 160 continuing. So we just made it through McCabe. McCabe is open, traveling public both ways again, yay. Beautiful project. We did not do a big project celebration because we have so much other stuff coming in behind it. And so once we get done with everything, we'll do a bigger celebration with the whole community. But currently what we have going on right now is resurfacing Highway 160. We are doing it from 8th Street clear out to the intersection of County Road 139, or my affectionate Estrada LaSalle location, out past Borelli's. We are also doing some culvert replacements. We are also doing some guardrail work. It's taken a little bit for us to get ramped up. It probably doesn't feel like you're seeing a lot of progress going on yet, but it will come soon. A lot of the paving work will be happening overnight during the nighttime hours because of the volume of traffic that we have around your community. We are also doing some resurfacing work from 3rd Street out to Highway 84 as well, to make sure that we just get all the asphalt that's going to be done after our reconstruction downtown in really good shape. The way our funding works is we probably won't be back to resurface it for 20 years, unfortunately. So we're doing everything we can to get it in the best shape as possible while we're here. And then the downtown area, which is kind of that little blue area, is our project that will could be coming through with reconstruction here. So again, Pagosa West paving, so going out to County Road 139, Boyles Road, Estrada LaSalle, down to 8th Street, and then from 3rd Street to the east side of town, culvert replacements near Trails Boulevard, as well as, oh, there's in there twice. So anyways, some culvert replacement work will happen as well. And then restriping. So we are going to restripe Putt Hill through all of this to try and take advantage of the wide pavement width. As I mentioned, I grew up here, so I know what the Putt Hill passing lane used to do. It used to provide you an opportunity to get around big truck and get on out the west side of town and head on out towards Durango and Bayfield without being behind the line of traffic. Now, if you get around somebody, you come out here to Walmart and the rest of the development going on the west side of town, and you're back in the line of traffic. So it doesn't quite provide the operational benefit that it used to. So now we're trying to figure out ways to repurpose that existing highway width to provide other operational benefits. So we will have a left turn passing lane as you're headed west or up Putt Hill at Great West. I know we haven't counted near misses there. I see all the skid marks on the highway anytime I drive through. So we're hoping that will eliminate that. So as you're coming out of town headed west, you will be staying in one lane a bit further than you used to. We will open it back up to 2 lanes as you continue to climb the hill to the big curve. And at Pike Drive, we're going to bring her back in a little before Pike Drive, we bring her back into 1 lane. We're going to have an eastbound left turn lane turning opportunity at Pike Drive. Again, I've rolled up on accidents there. I know there's a lot of rear ends as well as a lot of near misses. What this will do is it will make that left turn into Rob Snow. Technically, we shouldn't be making a left turn into Rob Snow because you're headed west or headed up Putt Hill. It will not be striped to accommodate that. You'll still be able to turn right into Rob Snow as you're headed downtown or east. But it's what we had, the give and the take that we had to do. And we have so much more traffic doing that left turn on Pike Drive than we do on the Rob Snow roadside. So that's why we made that decision. This will also have everybody in 1 single lane as you then hit kind of that flat spot as you're coming up towards the Piedra Road signal. Part of that is we're looking at our crash patterns, and we saw a decent number of crashes, rear end crashes happening, as well as people jumping back into that left lane as they're coming up to Piedra. A lot of out of towners not understanding that traps you into a right turn only lane. So we're gonna keep everybody, make it very clear as you're going through the behavior signal. You're in one lane of traffic for quite a ways heading into it, and then we peel off those right turn lanes, as well as the right turn lanes for the other intersections along that straightaway. Hopefully that makes sense. Okay, so that's that project. So once we get done with the project this fall, and it should be this fall, it may be November this fall, but it will be this fall. That should be the restriping that you're gonna be seeing on the Putt Hill side of things. Any questions on that side of it? Yes, sir.
Your chart says October 2024.
I know. Just knowing supply and demand, we're still having issues getting oil from time to time. We're still having issues getting drivers to deliver the oil for the asphalt. It could be as late as November.
Next year.
Oh, no, sorry, it should be done this year, 2023. I apologize. It should not be a two-season job. That's a typo. Okay, so, yes, sir.
Is there a timeline for making this corridor into a wider area?
So unfortunately, no. The way our funding is working right now, we're struggling like everybody else. We're struggling with every other government organization, and it's costing more to do business. But the revenue coming in to pay for that business is not increasing at the rate that inflation is. So right now, CDOT as an organization is struggling, in all honesty, just to be maintaining our existing assets. We do have a plan, and in all honesty, we're increasing the width of 160 from Piedra Road into the downtown into 2 lanes each direction is on a longer term plan. But the funding has to come to make that happen. So right now, I can't give you a big timeline. Me as a resident down here, I know we need to figure something out because there's a lot more traffic, and the configuration of this highway is the same as it was in the 70s, and our traffic has increased exponentially since then. We will continue to fight as a region to try and expand, but right now we just don't have any plans. So unfortunately. Okay, the reconstruction project. So now we haven't touched from 3rd to 8th Street downtown through all this other work we've been doing other than the Cave Creek. So we will be coming back hopefully next summer is the plan at this point. We're going to advertise a project this fall to put concrete pavement down, which is the same type of pavement that we have in downtown Durango. It's the same type of pavement we have kind of through that corridor in Bayfield there. That concrete pavement is meant to hold up to a lot higher stresses than what asphalt does. So all the rutting and stuff you're seeing through the downtown area should be alleviated through this concrete pavement project. So that will be coming through. I'm anticipating that being a 2-season project. So I'm anticipating us being here during the summer of 24 and the summer of 25. We will also be doing a road diet. So we'll be continuing the 1 lane through downtown. I understand there's some mixed feelings in the community still about this. We have done a number of outreaches. We have done a lot of traffic modeling to confirm that this is going to work. The Cave Creek being in a 1 lane configuration for almost 3 summers, in all honesty, confirmed a lot of our thoughts that we think this is going to work. You are going to be in a line of traffic all the way through town. You're already in a line of traffic all the way through town. What this does do is it allows for some center median from Hot Springs Boulevard to Lewis Street, sort of through that corridor. So you get some friction in the highway, causes people to slow down, look around a little bit, allows for some beautification through the downtown area, which I know has been one of the desires. You will still be able to make a left turn into the parking area that's there by Tequila's and that overlook. I think it's still Tequila's, but by that overlook there. So you still would be able to make a left turn into there. Trucks should actually be able to navigate better because they're going to have a wider lane to get around that corner. That's some of the modeling that we've done. And right now, big semis have to take up pretty much 2 of those lanes when they're trying to turn. If someone's trying to sneak by the semi in the right turn lane, it's pretty dangerous right now. It will continue to allow parking on Main Street. I think we're going to be widening some of the sidewalk areas on Main Street as well through some cooperation with the towns. And some additional street beautification, highway beautification going on with the town as well. And then flashing head crossing. So the old courthouse head crossing there at that corner will come out as part of this project. We will have an additional head crossing closer to Fifth Street, Bow Street area. And then we will have the remaining ped crossing still in the middle between Hot Springs and Binker. So all of that will be coming together. And again, we're planning to advertise it this fall. As long as all of our bids come in where we need them to, and we can find all the money that we need to, this is a priority project for us, so we're gonna dig far and deep, no matter what the bids come in at, to make sure we get this project funded. And then, yeah, so then spring of 2024, we'll be out here again and working through spring of 24 and then into summer of 25. Any questions on that? Yes.
I think the original approach, and I know a lot's changed last summer until we heard about it, was First Street to 10th Street. I thought it was more of that footprint, but it's 3rd to 8th. Some of that other work's getting done right now, correct?
Yes, that other work is getting done, so we are taking care of the entire downtown area. It's just where the limits of where the concrete pavement is gonna be at.
Okay, so the concrete will only be from 3rd to 8th, and then
Correct.
there was a curb and gutter sidewalk project as part of some of the original drafts. Are those falling out, or was some of those going to be done?
I don't know the details on that,
They're
James.
still part of the project. From first to 10th Street.
For first and 10th. Okay. Okay, thanks.
Yeah, so we're trying to do a whole bunch of work through combined efforts. And then we're also doing a little bit of work at Pedro Road intersection. The Pagosa Springs got a grant to do some work on some of the ADA ramps at that intersection. That will also be tied into this reconstruction project too. So hopefully by summer of 2025, we can have a good celebration. We'll be in a much better situation, other than the fact that it's not gonna be wider, but at least the surface will be in a lot better configuration, and we'll have some different striping and safety improvements along the way. Okay, and I think that was all that I had for you guys today, unless you have any questions. Other questions. Thank you very much. Thank you.
So no chance of delay on that reconstruction project unless
Unless the bids just come in so high, there's no way in the world we can afford it, but it is a priority, so.
good. Thank you so much. So one thing I didn't get to share with you is that the Main Street group is working on a cone zone survival kit. Stay tuned for that, for the businesses that are gonna be affected there. Jason, you're the only one here from PSMC. Is there anything you'd like to share with the group? I thought we were gonna have a few others, but I think communication fell apart, so.
Sure, a couple notes.
Yeah.
Hey guys, Jason Cox representing this moment, Pagosa Springs Medical Center, I'm on the board of directors. Pretty scary when I'm the longest tenured member of that board after 5 years, but organization is doing great. COVID survival went well. We are in a great cash position. We actually started some investing earlier this year, formed an investment committee and a financial oversight there. So it's a very safe investment, over $13 million with cash we were sitting on. A lot of that came through the pandemic. So we're in a great cash position. For the first 5 months of the year, we actually had a profitable 5 months. We've never done that before in the 15-year history of the hospital. So we're excited about that. Unfortunately, when we make money, that means people are sick and injured. That's just how the medical field works. We really are working on getting past just doing care for people who are sick and injured. We're working on a more what's called value providers. So we have care teams that take care of people. We're trying to keep people well instead of treating them when they get sick. And that's kind of the model that's going forward on healthcare in general, especially Medicare and Medicaid, which is 65% of our revenue. Doesn't even cover our costs, so we have to cover the costs through private payers. So all of you privately insured ones out there, thank you so much for helping us cover those who don't cover our costs. We recently applied and we're in front of a DOLA committee for a $1 million grant. This will be to help with remodeling the Pruitt building, which is at the corner of 160 and South Pagosa Boulevard. We purchased that building last August, and we want to turn it into a wellness center, focusing on physical therapy and other related things like that. We feel good about the grant. We've received 2 DOLA grants before. This one will be the 3rd. I did talk to someone who is a member of that subcommittee over the weekend, and a relationship through another relationship. And she said the presentation was very well done. It moved on to the next round. So we may not get the full million requested, but we should see a significant portion of that. We will be out in the community through the foundation and other efforts, raising money to complete basically a $2 million renovation. We hope to break ground on that this fall. I think outside of that, unless I've missed anything, any of you have anything about the hospital, that's about all I know, and try not to get too sick or injured, but if you do, thanks for helping us pay the bills.
Thank you for speaking with no warning. Okay, we're gonna move into a couple municipality updates. Today we have Brooks Linder, who is a town councilor with Pagosa Springs. He also serves on our board as the liaison.
Good morning, everybody. Brooks Linder, Town Council. James could probably do this better than I, but I'll give you a very high-level view of some of the things that have been going on over the past year and more recently with the town. In regard to affordable housing, workforce housing, we're kind of at a contemplation point here with the Servitas organization with whom we've been working for a couple of years now to potentially build some units. We purchased a piece of property behind Walmart over here, and the idea was to do a complex that was a mix of townhomes and apartments and efficiency apartments. We did apply for some grants to help fund that. They did not come through, and so currently we are under discussion about how to move forward with that. We have facilitated some different projects with density bonuses and other incentives, including a development in South Pagosa that is given us 4 deed restricted, 4 correct James? Yeah. Total 4 total deed restricted units right there in downtown, and the Pagosa Inns and Suites, which were converted into apartments. We have 25 units there that have been deed restricted for affordable housing. In our sanitation department, we've done some infrastructure work installing new pumps at some of our lift stations downtown. And a big thing that's happening with sanitation is there are 2 different bills at the state level and the federal level that are going to be requiring some upgrades to the PAWS treatment plant, which means some big costs down the road. PAWS has reached out to the state and is hoping that we can get a delay on having to implement some of those changes. So we will see what happens with those. A lot of different infrastructure projects going on downtown, of course, in McCabe Creek. As CDOT has told us, that's finally done, so it's great to have all that congestion over with. The crosswalk at First Street is nearing completion, and that'll be great for connecting our Riverwalk to the other side of the street there, and then a future pedestrian bridge there at First Street, connecting the east end with the Riverwalk. We've also been working on the Rumbraw Creek restoration project, and that is ongoing as well. In regard to short-term rentals, the last year was very interesting. As everyone can remember, there was a ballot issue that passed that imposed a room-based fee on STR owners. That ballot issue was eventually struck down as a result of a lawsuit, and so that is no longer in place. And the town in this last year did a nexus study. We hired a group to do a nexus study to examine the economic impact of STRs on our community. Based on that, the town did end up imposing a fee on just a flat fee, annual fee on STR owners, along with the existing regulations that were already in place. Let's see, Parks and Rec, we have pickleball courts that are almost completed in Yamaguchi Park. I know everyone's excited about that. Cameras are being installed in some of our park areas. We ran into some issues with vandalism in some of our bathrooms this past year. And so the new camera system is going to be much more sophisticated and up-to-date technologically than what exists now. And that's something that our Parks and Rec people really wanted to have in place. And public arts, hopefully everyone has seen, you know, the different art projects that we have in and around downtown, and including up here by the old Pirelli building, which is now the Pagosa Peak Open School. Have the we have the Blue Bear in Yamaguchi. Personally, I love all the public art work that's been done over the past few years in downtown Pagosa. I think it's gone a long way towards brightening things up, and I think it's a great trend that we have going on there. Sales and lodgers tax have been down and trending downward year over year for the past several months, in the range of 2 to 3%. Everything is still up compared to 2019, but year over year things are going down. So staff is really keeping an eye on that, as well as town council. That's really a high level view of some of the things that have been going on over the past year. From more recent meetings, as everyone is probably aware, our town manager has tendered her resignation. So we are going to be looking for a new town manager. We're going to be hopefully hiring an interim manager here coming up very shortly. We hope to have that hire done by our July 20th meeting. And then we have a process, we have a timeline that we just approved in our meeting last week for the hiring of the new town manager. So we'll be sad to lose Andrea, but it also presents an opportunity for us to hire a new person in that position. In our last meeting, just a couple of tidbits. Our last meeting was just this last Thursday. We continued rent relief for Archuleta Seniors Inc. They rent the space in the community building there, and we gave them rent relief for the first 6 months of this year, and then we decided to extend that to help get those guys back in the black. Our tourism department is wanting to add an additional person, and so we're going to be looking at that. They're going to be looking at that, trying to hire someone to help them with what seems to be a growing department. And that's all about what I have for you guys right now. I'll take any questions anyone has in for the town. Yes, Dave.
Given the importance of the town manager position, how can the community, how will they be able to engage in that process?
Yeah, good question. I don't know the exact answer. I don't know if there is going to be an opportunity for the community to be a part of that process. We went over the timeline last Thursday, and I'm trying to remember if there was, if that was part of it. So I'm sorry, I don't know the answer.
Yeah, I didn't need the interim law, I meant
Yeah.
for the future.
No, I understand. I don't know, James, do you know the answer?
It's been handled differently in years past, depending on how town council wants to look at that. They've done a meet and greet with the candidates in the past, but
Right.
whether or not that will be considered this time around.
Thanks. Yeah. So just, stay in touch, and we'll see if that opportunity arises. Anything else? Any other questions? Yes, Rachel.
So I don't wanna, I don't have a question, but I want to give a thank you both to the county and the town for allowing us to put additional broadband equipment to cover Lewis Street, which is a designated events corridor, as well as Town Park. And both of them worked fabulously. We just can't thank you enough, and it's going to continue on for the rest of the year for all the other events that are coming here. It was just a game changer for us. So thank you so much for letting us do that.
Great. Great, glad to hear that that worked. Okay, and our last public update is Ms. Veronica Medina, District 3 County Commissioner.
Good morning, everybody. Glad to be here with you. So high level for the county, we have, or in the process of completing about 51 roads. And that's everything from chip seal, mag chloride, or totally redoing them. So there's a total of 51 roads that we will be completing this season. And our season can be cut short, as we know by weather, or if it holds out, we will be able to get it done. And we have about 3 to 4 different vendors that are going to be completing those roads. So that's really important for us to be able to get them all completed. Yesterday and today, we've got crews out on Arborlees at 982, working on those roads. And then hopefully that crew will be up here on South Pagosa from 160 and getting that lovely portion of potholes completed. So hopefully that'll happen next week. And then we've got some work happening down in Cloman. That might be delayed a little bit because we have the fire crews staged at Cloman Park. So we may have to delay that just depending on their needs. And then we'll be doing on County Road 700, we'll be doing some more mag chloride and just getting that road up to a better condition, since the traffic has increased on County Road 700 because we have the bridge closed down Trujillo Road at, what is it, right there at the, before the church. Down. So right there, kind of at the point of County Road 700 in Trujillo. And then again, the fire, as we all know that we've had 2 fires here. The one at Chris Mountain, it's about 56% contained. So they're doing a really good job considering the terrain is pretty rough, that they can't really get to the fire, but they've done a great job in containing it. So that's good news. The landfill, this is wonderful news. We're really excited. For the first time ever, is what I was told. I know ever is a very long time, but ever the landfill has passed the state inspection. And what does that mean? That means that's fabulous news. It doesn't never happen, right? So, and I really have to give props to our Public Works Director, Kevin Pogue, and his crew. They have just worked number of hours trying to get it to where it needs to be, and they've done an amazing job for us to pass. So that's really good news. And Kevin and the crew have really expanded the life of our landfill, so that is also good news. Before we were told between 3 and 5 years, and now we may have between 5 and 8 years. So we've still got a lot of work to do, but we are having some conversations about expanding that. But right now, that is just such good news that we passed the state inspection. So, and that really goes to the leadership of that Public Works Director and his great communication with the state as well, because he's really worked with them to see what it is we need to do and how we get there. So that's huge. We heard from Ashley, but from the health department, our new director, she will be actually moving into the building here very soon. We're trying to get the county network into that building and doing some upgrades that we will need. So we're not waiting till December 31st to get that done. So we've already started doing that. So she'll be ready to go here shortly, working out of that building, and potentially some other staff that we'll be hiring. And then we have the county as well is working on affordable housing in the way that the county's doing it is we have donated some land to Habitat and then also the CDC for them to do some affordable housing, as well as we are working with some local builders that have purchased some of the tax lien properties. So, and we are going to be encouraging other builders to do that by other incentives. And we've started to identify that through our land use code. And so we're diligently working on that and really trying to just to give some incentives for builders to do that, because we know the cost of building here is very high, as well as trying to get some of our builders to do that because they're already so busy. So that is really important. I think at a high level, I think that is all I have. So, any questions?
I have a question for both the town and the county. Is there any code enforcement or other regulations that can assist with the potholes on private property, such as the city market parking lot, TDK Bay, and the roadhouse? I mean, they would swallow a small vehicle.
Yeah, we get those calls all the time. So we have tried, we have reached out to the owner at City Market.
And there
But-
are town offices too, so,
Yeah.
I mean, within the town, but it's rough, and I just think for our tourists, it's a really inhospitable site.
So the last time that we spoke to the owners of City Market, or that parking complex or that complex, we explained if the road wasn't done or fixed, that we would actually close that entrance to Pagosa Boulevard, so South Pagosa, and then we saw some potholes fixed. So I don't know if we can have that conversation again, but hopefully they would keep that up, but I don't know. Do you have anything on that?
That particular area is very complicated because the potholes are on properties, that do not have any developments. Unfortunately, Country Center Drive goes through 7 private properties, and the potholes are located on the properties that are vacant. So it is complicated. We've been trying to work with them to create an association that could pay for those common road repairs that's still in play.
And the town has no direct jurisdiction over those because it's private, is that correct?
Yeah, I mean, we are looking at adopting the property maintenance code, which gives us a little bit more authority to deal with this type of issue. Correct. I mean, this winter was really hard for us to push potholes because ours was bad. So, highways, county roads, county parking lots, they were everywhere this winter. So
But we've been working on them, so. Jason?
Probably the question, maybe you and James or anybody else comment, both town and county. Thinking of land use development, kind of updates going on in town right now, you know, you guys have been working on some stuff. When we look at the workforce housing and challenges, I know it's great that we're getting lots donated. I know we have infrastructure challenges that are being met in some areas. But to me, being fairly ignorant of the construction processes, I know a couple things. One is stick building is very expensive. And manufacturing works well. Henry Ford used it to some effect to revolutionize the automotive industry. We've seen it in others. How much does the code align with encouraging that type of development? Because I just don't seem to hear it. The Servitas plan didn't address it very well. It said, we're gonna stick build. There's a, that's expensive. So is there a code impediment there, or is it just the general tendency of our local developers? Is there anything you can address from what the county's perspective is, trying to encourage workforce housing by using the better means of producing it in a cost-effective manner?
Yeah, so I think definitely they are. I think some of the project last year, I think Habitat, you used.
We used, last year, Habitat built 2 modular homes, a company called H-Well, that's based out of Pueblo. This year, we're using a company called Carson, they manufacture down in, Albuquerque, excuse me. And their Clayton Homes does the manufactured and Carson does the modular. So we're building 3 homes right now. Unfortunately, the crane that is going to move them from the brush center from PLPOA has been gracious enough to allow us to place the homes there, thinking that we were going to be able to have a crane soon enough. to place them on the foundations, which we've done. The truck is up on Wolf Creek Pass right now, the crane is. The transmission went out and they're coming to us from Leadville, so he's flying in parts from Europe. So that we can get the home, there's always something in construction, right? But, so we will be able to, we're ready to bring homes, 2 homes on San Houston. They're between 1,350 and 1,400 square feet. And then a third home that's about, just a little less than 1,200 square feet on Ranger Park. So, and you walk into these homes and they look nice. They're nice quality homes. One thing that we're doing is putting solar on these homes. We have a 612 pitch on the homes instead of having a traditional modular or flat top roof on those. And then we're working with LPDA on the home on Ranger Park. That is going to be a pilot program for solar and heat pumps and heat pump furnaces as well as heaters. It's water heaters. So I've learned so much more than I wanted.
There's not a code impediment.
No,
The county side, no, because like I said, I'm interested, there's so much momentum to keep a stick built, and I keep thinking, why are we trying to do it the old way? It's too expensive. Why aren't we looking to do, so I just make sure there's not a code impediment.
No, and I don't think we're encouraging, it has to be stick built, we're encouraging more homes.
But even this.
Yeah.
That is also.
Yeah.
And the last one was follow the IRC building codes. So, given from the state, but counties, but we need housing of all types.
I think it's also builder preference right now, because I mean, I think our code and county code doesn't discriminate on what the type of structure it is, but that's what the engineer, it's untypical. But I think modular homes are generally about the same price, you just get it fast.
Yeah.
The
To a certain extent, yeah.
trucking is so expensive, it does stick there, but you get somebody who can get it much better.
So it looks like we have 2 more questions. Brooks?
So 5 to 8 years is still really short period of time for that landfill. What is being done, or what plans are being made, what conversations around the end of that?
So, so again, the Public Works Director is looking to expand our current footprint. We are talking to some property owners that we may be able to purchase some land. But right now, he is just really focused on how can we make our current landfill better and kind of readjusting some of those materials in a better way. And obviously, we're doing recycling for free, so that's been huge as well. I can't go into much more detail than that, but we are looking at some other options of expanding.
Yeah, real quick, I'll just comment, when you're, the guy who, I'm sorry, I'm forgetting his name, who runs a transfer station. When he came and spoke to Rotary, he said that the free recycling has really decreased the volume at the landfill, so
That's correct.
yeah.
Yeah, so that's huge. Yeah. Great. Ken?
I think you all, might have looked at a proposal to change the land use code,
Yes.
allow some second units on single family residence lots. Did that happen?
Yes, it did.
Maybe say a few words about it.
So that,
Did it happen or did we discuss?
It did happen.
it did happen, yeah, I couldn't remember. Yeah, so it did happen, so I believe it is, if you have more than 3 acres, you can have up to 3 properties.
5 acres.
5 acres.
You can have up to 3, as long as your additional dwelling beyond your original dwelling is deed restricted to workforce housing.
Yes, yes.
And the parameter is set at 80% AMI.
Thank you, Emily. I couldn't remember the details on that. Yeah, we did discuss that. So, and I think, I don't know if the email was from you or somebody, it was from PLPOA in regards to, so obviously homeowners associations, their rules, county doesn't trump them if it is in regards to how many units can be on the property, that's all within the PLPOA, but for the county part of it, outside of the PLPOA, it's different, so.
Yeah, it also allows for some ADUs to
Yes.
be, detached from the house on under 3 acres, but they have to be under a certain square footage. It also has, density bonuses in there as for workforce housing defined item. They also called out tiny homes now, those are allowed. And also, manufactured homes, they just put them into a category that if they fall with this, in this AMI and you are doing a development, they will waive all your fees to incentivize you to build that product or to bring that product into the market. So it was a big land use code amendment, actually, and it takes, Pam Flowers did a lot of work on this and working with the Prop 123 as well, that's gonna be coming into play pretty soon. MJ?
Dan, not to put you on the spot or anything, but has POPOA looked at allowing any use in that association?
The limitation we've got is that the land use has been cuts. And so the only way to change the land use regulation would have to go out again, 50 to 67% of their owners will agree to change, which practically is impossible.
Great. Well, this is gonna conclude our meeting this morning. We're right on time. It's 9:30 right now. I appreciate your time today. I hope we were able to share as much as we possibly could in this short period of time and you gained some value. Thank you and have a great day.
And we have more coffee.
Veronica, I was gonna ask, how many of them-